بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين ربي يسر ولا توسر وتمم بالخير اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. One humble request before we start. Al-Quran Institute is a Quranic Dawah and educational institute. We would like to reach many others like you, so your assistance will be greatly appreciated. If you benefit from our videos, please like, share, and subscribe our YouTube channel. Jazakallahu khairan. Let's start, inshallah. Alhamdulillah, we have studied Ismu Zarf, ism of time and place, in our last lesson. And today we are going to study lesson 2 of module 2, and the topic is Badal or substitute, inshallah. In this chapter, we are going to study everything about Badal, and at the end, we shall discuss the difference between Badal and Sifat briefly. In English, Arabic word Badal is called the substitute, means replacing another ism. Badal is the substitute, and the word being substituted from is called Mubdal Minhu. The first ism is a way of introducing the second, and the second ism is really what you want to say in the first place. Let's look at an example. Laqaitu akhaka Zaidan. Laqaitu, I met. Akhaka Zaidan, your brother, Zaid. Now I could have said Laqaitu Zaid, but instead the words akhaka has been brought in order to stress or establish who the Zaid is. So here akhaka is Mubdal Minhu and Zaidan is Badal. Your brother and Zaid are actually referring to the same person. Saying your brother is just a way for setting the stage. Zaid is really the point of conversation, to stress or affirm and really establish who or what the subject is. The question is, why is Badal used? The answer is simple: to stress on the subject. As far as the subject of a sentence goes, the reason you extend it with Badal is to stress it. Here is another example. Hazal baitu kabirun. Haza is Mubdal Minhu and Al Baitu is Badal. We could have said Al Baitu Kabirun, but Haza in this instance is adding more value to Al Baitu, pointing it to a specific house. This house is big. The Badal substitute is generally definite in Marfu state, but Mubdal Minhu doesn't need to be. But they must match at least 3 properties of ism. Let's look at some examples from the Quran, inshallah. Na'budu ilahaka wa ilaha abaika Ibrahim. We all worship your God, the God of your forefathers, Ibrahim. Here, abaika is stressing on Ibrahim, who Ibrahim is. Next, فَآمِنُوا بِاللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ النَّبِيِّ الْأُمِّيِّ. So believe in Allah and His Messenger, the unlettered Prophet. Rasulihi is Mubdal Minhu, An-Nabi'i is the Prophet. Let's look at some most commonly used Quranic verses. فَلْيَعْبُدُوا رَبَّ هَذَا الْبَيْتِ. So, let them worship the Lord of this house. Here, Hada is playing the role of Mubdal Minhu and Al-Bayti is Badal. ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ. ذَلِكَ is Mubdal Minhu and Al-Kitabu is the Badal. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Allahu is Mubdal Minhu and Rabbi is Badal. Allahu has become Allahi because of the harfs are li before Allah. Let's look at now the difference between Badal and Sifat. Please pay attention. We need to know very clearly what Badal is and what Sifat is, because in many instances it creates confusion. As a result, it may end with some wrong interpretation. Badal is an entity and Sifat is a quality. Badal means entity, which means existence. Quality means sifat or adjective or description of attributes, characteristics, or properties of an entity. An entity refers to something that exists independently, either in the real world or as a concept. It can be a physical object, it can be a person, it can be an organization, it could be a concept, or any distinct individual existence in the world. On the other side, quality, adjective, sifat, is represented by an adjective describes attribute, characteristic, or properties of an entity. It does not exist independently, but is used to characterize or describe something else. Let's just summarize what we said. Badal is an entity, it's an existent, for example, man, thing, etc. Badal and Mubdal Minhu needs to match at least 3 of the 4 major criteria like Mawsuf Sifat. Here is an example. Ihdina sirat al-mustaqim, sirat al-ladina an'amta alayhim. As-sirata is Mubdal Minhu and Badal is sirata. So al is missing. It's not definite here. So Badal does not need to meet all 4 criteria of the properties of ism. Only the definite article does not need to match. Just to remind, here are the 4 properties of ism: i'rab or status, type of noun, definite or indefinite, number, and gender. We try to remember the 4 properties of ism in this order: I, T, and G. I, T, and G. I means i'rab or status, T means type of noun, definite or indefinite, N for number, G for gender. Going back to sifat, sifat is a description of another noun, for example, quality. It can be good quality, it could be bad quality. And Mawsuf Sifat must match all 4 major criteria of ism. Here is an example. Inna Allaha huwa al-haqqul mubin. Here, al-haqqu and al-mubin are Mawsuf Sifa and matching all 4 properties of ism. For example, i'rab, type of noun, number, and gender. Alhamdulillah. Now we understood what Badal is and what Sifat. Badal is existence, Badal is entity. Sifat does not exist. It describes the attributes or characteristics of the entity, the Badal. Pay attention. What I'm going to discuss with you, there are different explanation, interpretation, opinion about, even from high-level scholars. But the information I'm going to share with you, this is coming from a very highly authentic, one of the most credible books called I'rabul Quranul Kareem, written by Muhammad Sulaiman Yaqut, rahimallahu. So alhamdulillah, we would like to share a few interpretation from that book. Let's look at Surah Fatiha. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Here lillahi is jar majroor with lam harf-e-jar coming, and Allahu has become lillahi. Rabb, Rabbun has become Rabbi here because it is also a mudaf of al-alamin, and it is badal of Allahi. That's why Rabbu has become Rabbi. So think about it. The word Rabb has got 2 elements to it. One is the person who does all these functionalities. And the other element is a sifat element. Its attributes. Each of these names, such as Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim, Ar-Razzaq, and so on, has got two elements to it. The person who does it and how he does it. Ar-Rahman, entirely merciful. He is merciful. He does mercy to others. How does it do it? Entirely, all the time. Ar-Rahim is also merciful. It does have two elements. The person who does mercy to others, but also there is another element attached to it. How does he do it? He does it in a way that it is the most, it is the extreme, it is the intensity. Nothing else like him can do it. So these examples, Rab, Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim, I've just tried to explain that these have got two elements to it. Ismu fa'il element, the subject element, the person doing it, and at the same time, how he is performing these functionalities. Why have I taken that long to really explain this to you? Because you will come across a situation where you will find some scholars, some teachers, some ustad or ustadas in some classes will just say, Rabb is Badal of Allah, and it cannot be Sifat. And you will also come across that Rabb is just Sifat of Allah, and there cannot be a Badal of Allah. But you will also come across a circumstance when you will see that Ar-Rahman and Ar-Rahim is Sifat of Allah, as well as these are Badal of Allah. So I'm telling you, this is an area where you will not engage into any argument. Everybody is right in their own way. Allah knows the best. But I just shared this information with you based on that book, the book for the teachers of the teachers. And you can see here, under Rab, it has been mentioned, Rab is Sifat or it can be Badal. Why? I just explained. Because Rab has got two elements to it. The person who does it and how he does it. How he does it, that's the Sifat element. And the doer, the subject element, the person is the Badal element. Ar-Rahman and Ar-Rahim, have a look at this. This is Sifat as well as Badal. Ar-Rahim, this is Sifat as well as Badal for the same reason. So this is a little bit advanced information I have just shared with you so that you are okay on this matter in advance. Alhamdulillah, we have learned about Badal, and I would like to just add three types of Badal. Again, in some courses, you might be mentioned about different types of Badal, more than 3, more than 4, 5. But we are primarily Quranic Arabic students. We should only learn and understand at this stage what is applied in Quran. So based on this information, I have only included 3 types of Badal. And if you find any more, learn, no harm, but they will not be used in the Quran. They will not help you in understanding Quranic Arabic verses, inshallah. Okay, the first type is called Badal al-Kull, and within bracket you can see entirety. It means the holistic approach. A Badal which will give a holistic meaning, a meaning in entirety. That's called Badal al-Kull. This is when the substitute noun represents the entirety of the noun it is replacing. For example, Ja'at tullabu wa minhum Zaidun. The students came, including Zaid. Here Zaid is a Badal for the whole group of students. All the students came and Zaid is in them. So Zaid has completed the total number. All the students came. Zaid has just completed the total expectation. So this is called Badal al-Kull. And I will give you one famous example from Quran. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. All the praises and thanks are for Allah, the Lord of Alameen. Here the word Rabb is Badal Kul because it represents entirely all the attributes and characteristics of Allah. Alhamdulillah. So the next example is called Badal al-Ba'd or Badal al-Ba'du. Ba'du means some. So by the name, you can guess what it is. Let me give you an example, a sentence in English. The people came to me, most of them. People came to me, most of them. What does it mean? It means I was expecting a group of people to come. They came. Most of them came, but some didn't come. Here too, when we say the people, it already includes most of them. This refers to the substitute that only represents a part or portion of the noun it is replacing. Here is another example. رَأَيْتُ الطُّلَّابَ وَخُصُوصًا زَيْدًا. I saw the students, especially Zaid. Here Zaid is a specific part or a portion of the whole group of students. Here at-tullaba is Mubdal Minhu and Zaidan is Badal. Zaid is a specific part or a portion of the whole group of students. With this statement, Zaid represents only a part or portion of the ism it is replacing. At-tullaba. Let's look at a Quranic example. For Badal al-Ba'du. صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم. Here, صراط الذين means their path. اهدنا الصراط الذين. Show us their path. Now there, this group of people, them, Allah has shown the path in two ways. One group, He showed the path by bestowing His blessings on them. And another group of people, Allah showed the way of going astray. So here, غيري is the Badal and Al-Ladina is the Mubdal Minhu. The last example of Badal. Badal al-Ishtimal. The meaning is encompassing, including. For example, Zaid was stolen. Okay? Zaid was stolen. And this is interesting. When you say Zaid was stolen, the verb stolen cannot actually occur on Zaid in a literal way. The meaning, it is not Zaid. The meaning is that it is not Zaid that the thieves picked up and took with them. Obviously, it is something that belongs to Zaid. For example, his clothings. So this figurative relationship keeps the listener wondering and waiting. And it begs the question, if Zaid wasn't stolen, then what was? Zaid was stolen, he can't be stolen. If he is not stolen, then what was stolen? Saying something that cannot possibly be real, like Zaid was stolen, and keeping the listener waiting like this is as if you have already mentioned his clothes in a foreshadowing kind of way. As before, even this type of double reference stresses the subject. So, Badal al-Ishtimal is that word which does not complete the sentence and creates suspense that something is going to be encompassed or included in order to make a full sense out of this statement. So, as you can see, there is no example of some of these badals from the Quran. So that's why it's not essential to go any deeper than that. Alhamdulillah, may Allah accept our intention and always guide us in the right way. Alhamdulillah, we have reached the end of this lesson. I hope you found it helpful. Please repeat watching this video a few more times and study the PDF file together. For reference, you may visit our over 60 YouTube video series for Module 1. Barakallahu fikum. Rabbana taqabbal minna innaka antas samiul alim. Ameen ya Rabbal Alameen. One request before you go. Al-Quran Institute is a Quranic Dawah and educational institute. We would like to reach others like you. So if you benefited from this video, please share with others, and most importantly, please subscribe our channel and like the videos. Don't forget to watch other video series on Quranic Arabic course. Barakallahu fikum. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم آمين يا رب العالمين.
سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.